Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Celebrating Marvel Studios. This is the spoiler and discussion of the finale of WandaVision. So, let's get down to it. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Celebrating Marvel Studios. This is the spoiler and discussion of the finale of WandaVision. So, let's get down to it. So I apologize for not really being done up today. It's been a day off, it's been full of other things and stuff. So I'm kind of doing this as a end of the night kind of thing. Now that I've got good video software going, I'm trying to catch up as much as I can on all the videos that I want to do. So, this is one of them. It may be a little bit late for most people, but I believe that there are some out there that might want to watch this. You never know. Or if somebody wants a retrospect onto the series or just want to hear my opinion. Here we go. So this episode basically is the all-out battle between Agatha and Wanda, with the kids being basically hostage. And Wanda says that now that she's out of the rooms of Agatha's basement, she's allowed to use her powers, which she does, which frees the kids, and she tells them to go to their room. So in the midst of this battle, it's kind of really quick and whatnot, but Wanda hurls a car at Agatha, and basically it crashes into the side of the house, so Wanda kind of walks over to investigate, and it's like a Wizard of Oz moment. I'm sure all of you know it. She looks and sees only the shoes of the dead witch. It's interesting. Harwood. I can't believe I've gotten it wrong so many times, but Hayward is correct. Hayward. Okay. So Hayward's vision, which is his actual body, incorporated with technology, no soul or anything like that, comes to Wanda at the point where she feels she defeated Agatha, and Wanda's like, vision? And he puts his hand against her cheek, and suddenly the other hand, and then he starts closing in on her head, and he says, I thought you were powerful. So I'm gonna kind of breeze through some of these moments to get to the highlights and whatnot. So there's a battle between the two visions. There's a battle between Agatha, who has emerged from this car episode, versus Wanda. And there is a segment where Monica Rambeau is still being held hostage by fake Pietro. Agent Jimmy Woo is in custody of S.W.O.R.D. and basically states to Hayward that his plan is pretty much really messed up, and that he's gonna pay the price for this, and comes up with this little scam that he has friends in Quantico that are gonna arrive within the hour to shut down S.W.O.R.D. So in the midst of the battle between Agatha and Wanda, Agatha happens to state that Wanda's destiny as the Scarlet Witch means that she will have more power than the Sorcerer Supreme, which we know as Doctor Strange. This has some pretty far ramifications, which will be discussed in later things in the MCU, which is exciting. So then Agatha decides that she's going to release Wanda's hold on all the citizens of Westview. And they're suddenly coming to light that, oh, we've been messed with, what the F, and yeah. So we cut down to Pietro's room where he's keeping Monica Rambeau hostage, and he's just trying to entertain her and whatnot. She's looking through some of his stuff and she says, Agatha doesn't live here, you do. So she's thinking and looks through other things and notices that his actual name is Ralph Boner. Now, Ralph has been mentioned many times by Agatha as Agnes. So it's kind of interesting how that might play, because Ralph seems a bit younger, quite a bit, I don't know, young. Well, I mean, in the scheme of things, he's way young for Agatha. Now that we know that he's Ralph, he goes to attack Monica, and she actually diverts it and rips off his necklace, and he's like, don't hurt me, don't hurt me, don't hurt me. And that's what we see of that. So back at the Vision household, Billy senses that, Mom's in trouble, and they've got to do something to help her out. So he and Tommy take off, and they're going to see what they can do. Wanda is being bombarded by the citizens of Westview for her taking over their lives, their memories, their perceptions, things like that. Wanda starts getting pretty overwhelmed by all of this, and not just in the fact that so many people are coming at her, but there's a lot of guilt that is in her head about what has been done. So in all of this pain, Wanda just shoots up with her power and starts to release the hex over Westview, and she knows that this is going to have a huge effect on her family, but she's wanting all the people of Westview to live in peace and safety and not feel like they're being harmed. And at that point, it's a prime time for Sword to sneak into Westview. So as this is happening, she can tell that Vision and the twins are starting to fade off. She knows that this is part of her reality, and it really is up to her whether she retains her family and makes this hex permanent for the citizens of Westview, or does she give up that family so that the citizens of Westview can live their own lives as they should. But at this point, she closes the hex and keeps it solid. At this point, Wanda's still in battle with Agatha, and she tells the boys to take care of Sword, as she kind of rescued them from Agatha. And as they're doing so, Hayward comes out with a gun and he starts to fire at the twins. Who would fire a gun at kids? It's so awful. However, Monica steps in and she is able to, with her powers, whatever they may be, take the brunt of the bullets, which doesn't harm the twins by any means, and that's another aspect of her powers that I think we're gonna see in the future. Which was cool, which thankfully happened. Good lord, Hayward's a son of a bitch for firing a gun at children. Ugh. So, as Hayward is making his escape, it happens to be that Darcy's vehicle, her circus vehicle, collides with Hayward's and pretty much kind of disables his going anywhere. And she's basically like, it's time for you to go to prison. So there's an exchange between the Vision we know and this white Vision that was basically the Vision that we knew. And they kind of reached a settlement as far as like, okay, you know what? I've got memories only over here. I've got data, I've got the body, I've got powers over here. So the Vision that we know and love offers his intuition into white Vision. So that is a good coupling. And White Vision is accepting, but he takes off. Nowhere to be seen. At this point, Wanda does her little mind spell thing that she hadn't done since the Age of Ultron, which was a great callback, and I was like, yes, yes, yes. And she did that on Agatha, so it took them back to Salem, where Agatha was basically being put on trial for being a bad witch by her coven. So at that point, Agatha had decimated her coven, including the head witch. So Wanda is walking around like, okay, you know what? I've got some swords here too, so, don't feel like you're the only one that has some magic or is powerful, because now I've got you. And then Agatha is like, no, I've got you. And she resurrects the corpses of all the witches that she decimated back in 1693 or whatever it was, but they become reanimated, and they look and see that Wanda is the Scarlet Witch, and they're like, no, we're not having this. So they put her up on the stake where Agatha was, in captivity, and now Wanda is in captivity. And Agatha's like, you see, I'm gonna take your power, I'm gonna absorb it all, and it'll all be done for you, and we don't have to really discuss anything anymore. However, Wanda decides to go kind of full out, and she breaks the trance that she put Agatha in and starts slamming Agatha with all this power that she can. And Agatha is absorbing it, no matter what, and it's like Wanda is like just being decimated, and it looks like it's toward the end, but she still keeps going on, and she hits things that aren't even there, and then Agatha is like, you know what? I've got all the power now. Thank you so much. A shot to Wanda. You see her healing from the bad magic and herself gaining strength, and she has actually placed runes along the hex wall so that she has the power to use, and Agatha does not. So, upon hitting those hex walls with the runes, that is starting to deplete the actual hex that is surrounding Westview. And that was a risk. Obviously, Wanda was willing to take. I might get emotional, sorry. Agatha makes a nice last bid to try to get into whatever is happening, but it's not enough. Wanda goes full power. She's like and she has become the Scarlet Witch. And it's so awesome. It's like, to me, it's almost like Jean Grey becoming the Phoenix. It's almost the same kind of level of things. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So now that she has defeated Agatha, she has magically reduced her to the nosy neighbor that Agatha chose to be within Westview. And Agatha couldn't fight it. Wanda turns to her family and says, "Let's go home." So Wanda and Vision put the boys to bed, and like nothing is ever gonna happen again. But clearly Wanda knows that this is the end for her children. Okay. Pull myself together. So, Wanda and Vision stand outside or inside their house, looking out the window, knowing that the imminent end is coming between them here soon, and they basically have to say their goodbyes. And Vision is so lovely in what he has to say, and Wanda is so accepting, and then not only does she have to deal with the loss of her husband, but also her 2 children. And then it's all wiped away. It's gone. And she's standing in the vacant lot that she arrived in before her grief took over and created Westview in her own view. So we get to have 2 end credit little moments, and the first one is that as Sword is investigating the anomaly that is Westview, there's an agent that calls along Monica Rambeau just for a little bit of secret knowledge. That's all he wants. And it turns out that this agent is a Skrull. A Skrull. We haven't seen them since Captain Marvel. Yay! So, the Skrull basically says that, well, yeah, you know, you did good work here, but you're needed. And it cuts to Monica, and she's like, well, not that excited. She's like, oh no, she's like, something like that. She's happy. she gets to like work on stuff that, you know, her mother did, and Carol Danvers slash Captain Marvel, whether they're friends or not, who cares? It's a dynamic that they can use. Fantastic. So in the next end credit sequence, we see Wanda living in a cabin, which could be based in Sokovia, and it could be the base of Vundagar Mountain, which would hold lore to the comics as far as where the twins were actually born, and still leaves open the fact that Magneto could still be the father of the twins, assuming that their stepfather is the one that died with their mother in Sokovia. It's a tight possibility, but a good theory nonetheless. So Wanda's in her cabin, and she's sitting out on the front porch, on the front steps, and she hears her tea kettle go off, so she walks into the cabin to get whatever tea she has, and it kind of pans around and it shows her astral form reading the dark hole. Sorry. And it's pretty impressive, you know. It's awesome. And as she's going along, all of a sudden she hears a cry of help from one of her children. And that's it.